Hey, good morning, guys. How are you doing today? Fine. In the last class we have discussed about smooth inclined plane. Today we are going to discuss about rough inclined plane. Inclined plane is rough, so there should be friction along the inclined plane. But before going to the rough inclined plane, let us recall once again about the angle of repose, right? I'll just draw the diagram and I'll show you the components of resolution of components of weight, and also I'll show you the formula for angle of repose. Right? I'm just recalling the topic that we have discussed earlier. Angle of repose, and I have denoted angle of repose with the symbol alpha, if I am not wrong, and angle of friction with phi. Angle of friction, there is another term called angle of friction. Angle of friction, I have denoted the symbol phi. If you go through my previous videos, right? Sorry. But here I am not going to discuss about angle of friction. I am going to discuss about angle of repose. I'll just show you. Let's say this is an inclined plane. This is an inclined plane. Right? Inclined plane. Here I have taken the angle alpha. When I put the block on an inclined plane, whose mass is, let's say, m, its weight mg always acts vertically downwards, and this weight is resolved into two rectangular components. One is parallel to the inclined plane and the other one is perpendicular to the inclined plane. As the block has a tendency to move downwards, so there is a downward component of weight. This is the downward component of weight. And one more component is perpendicular to the parallel component of the inclined plane, right? And one more component. These two components are the components of weight which are perpendicular to each other. And if this is alpha, this angle also becomes alpha as per mathematics. I have shown you long before. Right? Now when this is alpha, the component of weight touching the angle comes out to be mg cos alpha, and the other component which is not touching the angle comes out to be mg sin alpha. Is it not? And here the inclined plane exerts a force on the block in the opposite direction. This is called as normal reaction force. Fine. Now here, angle of repose, how can you define angle of repose? It is the maximum value of angle. That means slowly you try to raise the inclination. Slowly try to raise the angle of inclination. Now if I place my marker on my hand like this, it is not falling. Is it not? Now slowly I will tilt the angle. At a certain angle, what happens is the marker slides. At a certain angle, marker slides and it will fall down, definitely. Is it not? Like this it will fall. But I will raise the angle in such a way that the marker on my palm is about to slide down my palm. That angle, that maximum angle of inclination is called as angle of repose. In the same way, when I place a block on an inclined plane at a particular angle of inclination, the block is ready to slide down, but it is not sliding. Right? The very next moment it will slide down, but at one particular angle it is ready to slide down the plane. During that, till that point here, you have maximum value of friction. What is that maximum value of friction called? That maximum value of friction is called as limiting friction. Limiting friction. So this limiting friction is balanced by mg sin alpha. Right? If you remember, and this normal force is balanced by mg cos alpha. And this is in equilibrium. As the block is still at rest, under equilibrium I can write under equilibrium limiting frictional force is balanced by mg sin alpha, and normal force is balanced by mg cos alpha. Is it not? If I divide these two, mg gets cancelled. Normal force upon limiting frictional force upon normal force comes out to be sin alpha by cos alpha is tan alpha. Right? But if you recall, we have the formula for limiting frictional force as limiting frictional force is equal to coefficient of static friction multiplied by normal force. This is the formula to be remembered. Don't remember mu s into mg. Mu s into mg is not always true, but this is always true. FL is equal to mu s into n is the formula to be remembered. So therefore, I can write, in place of FL, I can write mu s into n. So mu s into n upon n is equal to tan alpha. N gets cancelled. Now what I am getting finally is mu s is equal to tan alpha. Or what is the value of alpha? Alpha is equal to tan inverse mu s. This alpha is called as angle of repose. This alpha is called as angle of repose. Fine. Why I have explained? Because I require this in order to explain about rough inclined plane. Because friction will come into picture. Friction will come into picture in case of rough inclined plane. Whereas in case of smooth inclined plane, that is an ideal case. That was an ideal case, and friction what we have taken is 0. Fine, fine. Right. Now let me just fine. So here, now this is what we are going to discuss: body or block sliding down a rough inclined plane. I am using, in short, I am writing rough inclined plane as RIP, right? Not rest in peace. This is rough inclined plane. I am using the acronym for smooth inclined plane as SIP, and I am using for rough inclined plane as RIP. RIP stands for rough inclined plane, whereas SIP stands for smooth inclined plane. Fine. Now let me draw the same diagram. Now this time, see, you can draw the inclined plane in your convenience. You can draw this way or you can draw in the reverse way. It all depends, right? Both mean same. Just you are reverting. Now here, let me place a block. Let me place a block of mass m. Block of mass m on the rough inclined plane. As this is rough inclined plane, right? Rough. Okay, I am not showing you because already I have written. This is rough. Assume that this is rough inclined plane. So whenever rough inclined plane will come into picture, you will come across friction. Right? Now its weight mg acts vertically downwards. Now let me take this angle as theta. general angle. I am not taking the angle as alpha. I am taking the general angle as theta. Now, this weight mg gets resolved into two rectangular components, and those two rectangular components are always perpendicular to each other. One rectangular component is parallel to the plane, and the other rectangular component is perpendicular to the plane. Parallel to the plane, this is parallel to the plane, this is parallel to the plane, and this one is perpendicular to the plane. When this angle is theta, according to mathematics or mathematically, as per mathematics, this angle also equals theta. Remember, and so no need to tell all the time how you got theta here. Fine. So now this weight, which is a vector quantity, mg is resolved into two rectangular components, one along the inclined plane or parallel to the inclined plane, and the other one is perpendicular to the inclined plane. Along the inclined plane or parallel to the inclined plane, I will consider that as x-axis, and perpendicular to the inclined plane, I will consider that as y-axis. That means if you choose coordinate system, it looks like this. This I am considering as x-axis, and the other one, this is along y-axis. This is how I am representing the coordinate axis for this block or entire system. Fine. So this is how it looks like. Is it? Fine. So down the plane I will consider as positive x-axis, up the plane I will consider as negative x-axis, because if you rotate like this, this will be positive x-axis, is it not? This will be positive y-axis. If you rotate the coordinate axis in such a way that, as shown here, this will be positive x-axis. So this down the plane I am considering as positive x-axis, and up the plane I am considering as a negative x-axis. But when I consider along y-axis, upwards I will take as positive, downwards I will take as negative. Fine. Anyways, this is how you are going to represent. Now let's see. Okay. Now what will be this component and what will be this component? The component of weight touching the angle always becomes cos. So this becomes mg cos theta. And the component which is not touching the angle, mg sin theta. This is easy way to remember. And anyways, this is normal force. But I am least bothered about normal. Of course, yeah, normal force will also come into picture. Let's see how it goes. Now here I am considering two cases. What are those two cases? Case 1 is if theta is less than alpha. What is meant by alpha here? Alpha is angle of repose. Angle of repose, how you have defined? It is the maximum value of angle at which the body is about to slide down. But when theta is less than alpha, this theta is less than angle of repose. Of course, body will not slide down at all. Body will be at rest. Is it not? This alpha I am considering as angle of repose. Angle of repose. When the angle you have chosen for the angle of inclination is less than angle of repose, then the block doesn't slide down. So then I can say that the body, or you can say block doesn't or does not slide down. That is, block is at rest. But what is the frictional force that will come into picture? In the opposite direction, which frictional force is opposing the block, because now what you take is static frictional force only. It is right, because theta is less than alpha. Theta is less than alpha. Okay, so block is at rest. Here, remember, this is not limiting friction. When theta is less than alpha, the friction comes into picture is static friction. The friction comes into picture is which friction? Static friction. And what is the formula for static friction? There is no such formula for static friction, remember. Static friction is a self-adjustable force. That means, accordingly, whatever the value of mg sin theta changes, accordingly the frictional force, static frictional force will change. Is it not? Right? So the frictional force come into picture is static friction, but not limiting friction. Very, very important. But not limiting friction. Limiting friction will come into picture only when theta is equal to alpha. Limiting friction. Limiting friction. Important point. So therefore I can write, because here the frictional force, okay, let me write here. Let me take the case theta is less than alpha. In this case, the frictional force what you are getting is static frictional force Fs. Now this Fs is balanced by mg sin theta. Directly you can write, because block is at rest. Under equilibrium, I can say that Fs is equal to mg sin theta. So therefore, don't write Fl here. Don't write Fl. Here you have to write Fs. Static frictional force is balanced by mg sin theta. Remember, if theta is less than, that is angle of inclination is less than angle of repose, then here what you will get is static frictional force is equal to mg sin theta. mg sin theta. Fine. Let's say if theta is equal to alpha, that means the block is about to slide down the plane. So which frictional force will come into picture? Case 2. Let me write case 2. Case 2. Case 2. Let me write case 2. If theta is equal to alpha, that is the angle that you made, which is equal to angle of repose, which is nothing but maximum angle of inclination. At that time, the block is about to slide down. So which frictional force will come into picture? In this diagram, this Fs gets replaced with Fl. Fs when theta is equal to alpha. When theta is equal to alpha, here you will get a friction called maximum value of static friction, which is also called as limiting friction. Now this time this limiting frictional force is balanced by mg sin theta. This limiting frictional force is balanced by mg sin theta. And now what I can write is, so here block is again at rest. Block or body, I can write like this. Body or block is about to slide down. About to slide down the rough inclined plane. About to slide down the rough inclined plane. In this case, now the frictional force got changed. Instead of taking static frictional force, limiting frictional force is balanced by mg sin theta. Limiting frictional force is balanced by mg sin theta. But theta is equal to alpha. In this case, theta is equal to alpha. So I can write, I can replace theta with alpha. Right? Now, what is the formula you have for limiting frictional force? You have the formula for limiting frictional force as, but limiting frictional force is equal to mu s into n. Remember this, very very important formula to be remembered. This is the formula only you have to write in case of limiting frictional force, but not for static frictional force. So limiting frictional force is equal to mu s into n. Therefore, I can write FL place if I write, so mu s into n is equal to mg cos theta, mg sin theta, mg sin theta. But what is this normal force balanced by? Normal force is balanced by mg cos theta, right? But okay, let me write here. We know that under equilibrium, this normal force, but normal force is balanced by mg cos theta. So therefore, I can write this one as mu s into mg cos theta is equal to mg sin theta. mg gets cancelled. Mu s is equal to sin theta upon cos theta. Sin theta upon cos theta, which is equal to tan theta. But I can replace this theta with what? Alpha. This is what we have discussed earlier in case of angle of repose. Angle of repose. This is case 2. I have shown you again. As case 2 in this. When theta is equal to alpha, then you will get this picture. Okay, let me erase this. Let me write neatly. So, which implies I can write mu s is equal to, I can replace theta with alpha because I have taken the condition theta is equal to alpha. Right? So, from this, what is value of alpha? Alpha is equal to tan inverse of mu s. This is the case that we have discussed already. Okay, Nana? Fine. Now, if theta is greater than alpha, if the angle of inclination is greater than alpha, then what happens? Just now I have shown you. If you go on increasing the angle at a particular angle, it is about to slide down. But if you increase the angle further, then what happens? The marker will slide down from my palm. Right? In the same way, let me show you case 3. Case 3. This is case 3. If theta is greater than alpha, then what is the condition? Then block or body slides down the plane, slides down the rough inclined plane. RIP stands for rough inclined plane. Fine. So RIP stands for rough inclined plane. Now let's see what happens in this case. So when it is sliding down, here which frictional force will come into picture? As the body is in motion, here you will get another frictional force called as kinetic frictional force or sliding frictional force. The other name for kinetic frictional force is sliding frictional force. FK. Right? Body slides down the rough inclined plane. Now let's see what happens. Here the condition is theta is greater than alpha. If theta is greater than alpha, let's discuss what happens along y-axis and what happens along x-axis. Y-axis is the coordinate axis perpendicular to the plane. X-axis is always, I am considering like this. I am considering x-axis as parallel to the plane. Right, fine. Now, then the body slides down the rough inclined plane, and which way frictional force will act? And this time, kinetic frictional force acts kinetic frictional force acts, Fk will act. Now, this time mg sin theta is greater than Fk. Because it is sliding down, mg sin theta must be greater than Fk. Then you will come across net force. You will come across net force along the plane. But whereas perpendicular to the plane, there is no motion of the block. So these two forces will get cancelled. Net force perpendicular to the plane is always 0. Is it not? So let me write like this. Along y-axis, normal force is balanced by mg cos theta. Normal force is balanced by mg cos theta. Whereas along x-axis, there is a net force. Along x-axis, there is a net force because mg sin theta should be greater than Fk in order to slide down the inclined plane. In order for the block to slide down the inclined plane, mg sin theta. Now, what is net force? Net force is equal to mg sin theta minus Fk. Mg sin theta minus Fk. Right? But what is the formula for Fk? Fk is equal to mu k into n, if you remember. But Fk is equal to mu k into n. But what is the value of normal force? Normal force is balanced by mg cos theta. So I can write this as mu k into mg cos theta. This is the value of kinetic frictional force. Right? So therefore F net I can write as mg sin theta minus mu k mg cos theta this time. Now let me erase this part. Right? Case 3. Therefore this F net force becomes mg sin theta minus mu k mg cos theta. Now F net is the net force on this block of mass m whose net acceleration is a net or a. So I can write force as ma. Here a is nothing but net acceleration. I am considering this a as net acceleration. Right? So ma is equal to mg into sin theta minus mu k cos theta. M gets cancelled. A is equal to g into sin theta minus mu k cos theta. Right. So this is the formula, very important for net acceleration sliding down the rough inclined plane. Very important formula. I got the formula for net acceleration of the block or body sliding down the rough inclined plane as A is equal to g sin theta minus mu k cos theta. Now in case of smooth inclined plane, if you remember, in case of smooth inclined plane, right, in case of smooth inclined plane, I got the formula for net acceleration as simply g sin theta. Just go through my previous video. There I have written A is equal to g sin theta. This you can derive from here. Because in case of smooth inclined plane, when there is no friction at all, you can't expect coefficient of friction. That means mu k is equal to 0. In case of smooth inclined plane, mu k is equal to 0. This term becomes 0. When this term becomes 0, you will get simply A is equal to g times sin theta. This is what I got. That is the case of smooth inclined plane. Anyways, once you remember all these formulas, you can write the formulas for smooth inclined plane easily. But provided you have to remember all the formulas in case of rough inclined plane. Fine? Fine. Very important. Remember this. This is the formula for acceleration, net acceleration. Now I want to find out in what time this block will take to reach the bottom of the inclined plane from the top. In what time the same block, if it starts from the top of the inclined plane, and if it reaches the bottom of the inclined plane, how long it will take? That is nothing but time of descent. Just if you recall the formulas, in case of smooth inclined plane, remember, right? What you have written? Now what I want is time of descent, TD, in case of time of descent for a block or body. Block means here body. 2. Time of descent for a block body to reach the bottom of a rough inclined plane from where? From top of the rough inclined or top surface of the rough inclined plane. From here to here. Anyways, I did not take length yet, but I want time. This is what I want. Now if you recall the formula, what you have written for time of descent in case of smooth inclined plane, time of descent in case of smooth inclined plane, you got the formula as, I think, time of descent you got as, if I consider this as length of the inclined plane, L is nothing but length of the inclined plane, L is length of the inclined plane. So what is the formula I have written for time of descent? Length covered is L, so 2L by G sin theta. Go through. This is the formula that I have derived for time of descent in case of smooth inclined plane. But G sin theta is what? G sin theta is nothing but net acceleration. This is nothing but 2L by A. This is net acceleration in case of smooth inclined plane. This is net acceleration in case of smooth inclined plane. This time what I am going to write? I am going to write down the formula for time of descent in case of a rough inclined plane. In rough inclined plane, what is the formula for net acceleration you got? Net acceleration you got as G into sin theta minus mu k cos theta. Therefore, I can write the formula for time of descent in case of rough inclined plane as 2L by A, which is, let me write here in this way. 2L by A. This is the general formula. 2L by net acceleration, but A is equal to G sin theta in case of smooth inclined. Now this time what I am going to write is, this time I am writing for time of descent in case of rough inclined plane as root over 2L by A. Again, this is net acceleration down the rough inclined plane. Now, what is the formula for A you got in case of rough inclined plane for net acceleration? 2L by G into sin theta minus mu k cos theta. This is the formula for time of descent during rough inclined plane. Remember these formulas. Again, if you want to find out time of descent in case of smooth inclined plane. In case of smooth inclined plane, mu k value is 0. So 0 into cos theta is 0. So g into sin theta, you will get the same formula as we have discussed in case of smooth inclined. So that is the reason, remember all the formulas in case of rough inclined plane so that it will be easy for you to remember or to write down the formulas in case of smooth inclined plane. Fine. So this is this is about time. Now, if it starts from the top of the rough inclined plane and when it reaches the bottom of the rough inclined plane, with what velocity it will come down, or what is that velocity of the block it acquires when it reaches the bottom surface of the rough inclined plane. Right? So let me discuss that. If it starts from the top of the inclined plane, if the block starts from, see, let's say the block is like this. Block is, let me take this as theta, block is somewhere here. Block is here. Block is at the top of the inclined plane. And if it reaches the bottom of the inclined plane, what is the distance covered? Distance covered is L. Distance covered is L. Right? So, here initially the block is at rest, so U is equal to 0. And with what velocity, or what is the velocity of the block that it acquired when it reaches the bottom of the inclined plane. So heading is velocity of the block or body on reaching the bottom of a rough inclined plane from the top. From the top. This I want. This I want. Velocity. Final velocity. What I mean to say is final velocity. Initial velocity is 0. So which equation is best suitable? V square minus U square is equal to 2s. Now V is V only. V square. U is initial velocity of the block is 0. So 0 is equal to 2 into net acceleration down the plane just now we got. What is the formula? This formula. This formula I got. So I will write in place of A, I will write G into sin theta minus mu k cos theta into what is the distance covered by the block down the inclined plane? L. So let me write here L. So finally what I am getting is V square is equal to 2GL, I am writing first 2GL into sin theta minus mu k cos theta. From this you can write down the formula for velocity. V is equal to square root of, what you will get? 2GL into sin theta minus mu k cos theta. So this is the formula for velocity down the plane. Velocity acquired by the block down the plane. Let me write this at the top. Velocity what I got is V is equal to square root of 2GL into sin theta minus mu k cos theta. This is the formula I got for velocity acquired by the block sliding down the rough inclined plane. If it is smooth, mu k is equal to 0, then what I will get is simply V is equal to root over 2GL sin theta. This also we have discussed in case of smooth inclined plane. So that is the reason my request is to remember all the formulas that what we are going to discuss in case of rough inclined plane and just replace frictional force is equal to 0 or coefficient of friction as 0, so that you will get all the formulas in case of smooth incline. So this is the formula for final loss. Right? Note it down. Fine. So now let us discuss a block sliding moving up a rough inclined plane, on a rough inclined plane, right? So this is what the picture looks like. Theta. This is rough inclined plane. Now initially the body is at the bottom of the inclined plane of mass m. It has to reach the top of the inclined plane. This is how it should travel. So this is the direction of travel. But when it is going upwards, it will be retarding. It will be retarding because its acceleration becomes negative, is it not? Its acceleration becomes negative. When this is going, initially its velocity is, it has to travel with some velocity. So v, or let me take this as u, and finally v becomes 0. So it is covering length of inclined plane as L. I am considering the distance travelled by the block along the inclined plane as L. Now again you have to remember, always you have to resolve the weight of the block into two rectangular components. So starting point is here. So its weight of the block always acts vertically downwards. Weight is resolved into two rectangular components. One is along the plane and the other one is perpendicular to the plane. Along the plane, as even though block is moving upwards, it is retarding with an acceleration. The acceleration is in the downward direction. In the sense, it is retarding. That means acceleration is negative. So what are the forces that you will come across? If this is theta, this angle also becomes theta. This angle is also equal to theta. Now this will be, what is this component? No, sorry, not this angle. Not this angle, I'm sorry. This angle is also equal to theta. So this will be equal to what? The angle touching the component. Component of weight, mg cos theta, which is balanced by, of course, normal force, and this one is mg sin theta. But mg sin theta is not the only force that is acting in the downward direction, because block is moving in the upward direction. As this is a rough inclined plane, frictional force will come into picture. Frictional force always opposes the relative motion between the surfaces in contact. So frictional force will also act this time, and this frictional force is Fk. This frictional force is Fk. Kinetic friction, because the block is in motion. Right? Block motion lo undi. So now what happens? Now what happens is, let me write. So as it is retarding, acceleration, even though block is in motion in the upward direction, retarding, so I can write like this. MA is equal to, these two forces are acting in the opposite direction. So I can write minus mg sin theta minus Fk. Is it not? MA is equal to, because Fk and mg sin theta both are acting downwards, block is moving in the upward direction. Therefore, I am writing the value of acceleration, which should be negative. This is negative acceleration. What I am getting is negative acceleration, or I can say retardation. If I say retardation, I won't put negative sign, but here I am putting negative sign. Right? So MA is equal to minus mg sin theta minus Fk formula is what? Mu k into n. Mu k into n. Since since Fk is equal to mu k into n. But normal force is balanced by what? Mg cos theta. So I can write this one as Ma is equal to minus mg sin theta minus mu k into mg cos theta. So therefore, which implies, since normal force is balanced by what? Mg cos theta. So I can write Ma is equal to, I can take a minus mg as common. I will get sin theta plus mu k cos theta. So that m gets cancelled. I am getting the formula for acceleration A as minus g into sin theta plus mu k cos theta. This is the value of acceleration, which is negative because body is moving in the opposite direction. Its acceleration will be negative because final velocity is 0, right? And I should get acceleration as a negative. I am getting negative acceleration, right? Simply remember like this: the acceleration of a block sliding down the rough inclined plane. What I got? Simply g into sin theta plus mu k cos theta. Now when the same block is moving upwards along the rough inclined plane, then I am getting the value of acceleration as minus g into sin theta plus mu k cos theta. In case of smooth inclined plane, when the block is sliding down the smooth inclined plane, the formula for acceleration I got as g sin theta. The formula for acceleration I got as g sin theta when the block is sliding down the smooth inclined plane. Whereas I got the formula for acceleration as minus g sin theta. This is the case when the body or block is sliding up the smooth inclined plane. Is it not? So this is the case, remember. So just put minus sign to g into sin theta plus mu k cos theta. That's it. So this is the formula to be remembered. All these formulas are to be remembered. Very, very important. Now, in this case, in what time this block goes up the rough inclined plane? That means I want time of ascent. How long it will take to reach the top of the inclined plane, rough inclined plane? Right? Simply, if you remember the formula for time of ascent in case of time of ascent in case of rough inclined plane is nothing but, again, what is the formula? Root of, if you remember, 2L by A. 2L by A. This is the general formula. This is net acceleration. Okay. Here negative sign indicates that the block is moving upwards so that its velocity is getting decreased. Is it not? Right. So what you will, time of ascent, 12 by A. What is the formula you need to write? You have to write the formula for acceleration. Don't put negative sign because time cannot be negative, and moreover, if you have any minus sign under root, that is imaginary, right? So take its magnitude. So write just simply root over 2L upon, what is the formula you need to write? You have to write the formula for A as g into sin theta plus mu k cos theta. Right? This is the formula. So time of ascent in case of rough inclined plane. Ascent, I said. Ascent means it is going upwards. Remember this formula. Formulas are to be remembered in friction. Most of the formulas. And I hope in terms of velocity, if I ask you, not in terms of length. If I ask you the formula for time of ascent in terms of velocity, time of ascent in case of rough inclined plane, in terms of velocity, what you will get is u by simply g into sin theta plus mu k cos theta. Sin theta plus mu k cos theta. This is in terms of velocity. This is, okay, let me write. This is in terms of length of an inclined plane, length of a rough inclined plane, and this is the formula used in terms of velocity, initial velocity I can say, rather velocity of a block on a rough inclined plane, in terms of velocity of a block in terms of a rough inclined. Fine. So let us do a problem. Let us do a problem. Just hold on. Fine. So this is the problem. Important model, important problem. So here I have a rough inclined plane on which a 10 kg block is resting, right? Angle of inclination of the inclined plane is given as 60 degrees. This is 60 degrees. Inclined plane angle is given as 60 degrees, and you are pulling the block with a force of 40 root 2 Newton as shown in the figure, and which is making an angle, let's say here, this is making an angle 45 degrees. This is making an angle 45 degrees with the inclined plane. Inclined plane direction lo undi. This is the, okay, let me just put like this. This angle is given as 45 degrees. This angle is given as 45 degrees along the inclined plane. Now, as you know very well, g is given as 10 meter per second square, mu s is given as 0.5, mu k is given as 0.4. I need the value of acceleration of the block. Let's see. Now, if you resolve this force into components, one will be, along the plane it will be f cos 45. Is it not? The angle touching the component of force. This will be f cos 45 degrees, and the other one what you will get is f sin 45 degrees. But what is L of cos 45 and sin 45? Values of cos 45 and sin 45 are 1 by root 2, is it not? Cos 45 degrees is equal to sin 45 degrees, each are equal to 1 by root 2. Value of force is given as 40 root 2 Newton. So this becomes what? 40 root 2 into 1 by root 2 comes out to be 40 Newton along the inclined plane in the upward direction. What about this one, f sin 45? This is also same. 40 root 2 into 1 by root 2. So this also becomes 40 Newton. Is it not? 40 Newton. Now still, what are the forces that you can show on this system? Weight of the block. Weight of the block. mg always acts vertically downwards. This is nothing but what? Mass is given as 10. G is also given as 10. So which is equal to 100 Newton. This is equal to 100 Newton. Weight is 100 Newton. Now weight is resolved into two rectangular components. Because as it is on the inclined plane, block has a tendency to slide down the plane always. Right? Even though when you are applying a force, it has a tendency to slide down the plane. So it has one component of weight along the inclined plane downwards, and the other one is perpendicular to the plane. If this angle is 60 degrees, this angle is also equal to 60 degrees as per mathematics. Now the angle touching the component of weight, as you know, mg cos theta. What is mg you got? 100 into cos 60. Cos 60 degrees. Cos 60 is 1 by 2. So this comes out to be 1 by 2. 100 into 1 by 2 is 50 Newton. Is it not? This is 50 Newton. What about this component? mg sin theta. Let me write. This is equal to mg is how much? 100. 100 into sin 60. Sin 60 is, okay, let me write sin 60 first. 100 into sin 60 degrees, which is equal to, I think this is 50 root 3 Newton, because sin 60 is root 3 by 2. Let me write here. Sin 60 degrees is equal to root 3 upon 2, and cos 60 degrees is equal to 1 by 2. Is it? So this value is 50 root 3. Now let's see. In this direction, what is the force we got? What is the force we have? 40 Newton. What about the value of mg sin theta? Mg sin theta, how much I got? 50 root 3 Newton. This 50 root 3 Newton is greater than 40 Newton or not? This 50 root 3 Newton. I don't know whether the block is moving downwards or upwards. Whether this force is more than sufficient to pull the block upwards, I am not sure. I don't know. So how to identify? We have to see if mg sin theta is greater than the parallel component of force. This is 40 Newton. Then the block has a tendency to slide down. If this 40 Newton is greater than this value of mg sin theta, then this block will move upwards. But here, what is the value of mg sin theta I got? 50 root 3 Newton. And what is the value of f cos 45 parallel to the inclined plane in the upward direction? 40 Newton. So in which direction? So I can write like this. Since mg sin theta, which is equal to 50 root 3 Newton, is greater than 40 Newton. 40 Newton. I'm sorry. The block slides down. The block slides down. Is it not? The block slides down the rough inclined plane. And as it is sliding down the rough inclined plane, how the frictional force will act? Frictional force will be acting in this direction. See, frictional force is always a contact force. Represent frictional force at the point of contact. At the point of contact. Right? Frictional force. Frictional force. So I can write, so Fk acts in the upward direction. Is it not? Let's find out now the value of limiting friction. Value of limiting friction. Always try to find out limiting friction at first. Let's see what I read. Limiting friction. What is the formula we have for limiting friction? Fl is equal to mu s into normal force. Yeah, normal force. Again, this one. What is this? This one will be normal force. This is normal force. Force exerted by the inclined plane on the block. Normal force. Here you have two forces. Normal force and the component of this force. Vertical component of this force. F sin 45. Here there are two forces which are balanced by mg cos theta. And here there are two forces kinetic frictional force and F cos 45, which are balanced by mg sin theta. I don't know. Let us find out whether FL, after finding out FL only I can come to know whether the block is at rest or moving now. Now let us find out mu s into n. Right. Now what is the formula we have? What is FL? FL is equal to mu s into n. This is the formula. I'm sorry. FL is equal to mu s into n. Let's find out. Now n plus, but let me write. But n plus f sin 45. F sin 45 is how much now? 40. Must be equal to what? Must be equal to mg cos theta. Okay, let me write like this. N plus capital F sin 45 degrees is equal to mg cos theta. Or let me write mg cos 60 because theta is given as angle of inclination is given as 60. So from this n plus f sin 45, how much I got? 40 Newton. So 40, this is equal to mg cos 60. Mg cos 60 I got as 50. Is it not? 50. So from this, what is the value of n? N is equal to 50 minus 40, which is equal to 10 Newton. N is equal to 10 Newton. So once I got the value of n, I will put the value of n here to find out the limiting friction. So therefore, limiting friction is equal to mu s into n. Value of mu s is given as 0.5 into normal force. Just now we got as a 10, which comes out to be 5 Newton. Limiting friction value is 5 Newton. Now let's see again whether this mg sin theta is equal to the sum of these two forces or mg sin theta is still greater than the sum of these two forces. Let's see. Now what is L of mg sin theta? 50 root 3. And what is L of fk you got? I mean fk in the sense, I don't know whether the block is sliding down or not. I have to find out yet. Limiting friction I got as 5 Newton. So add this 5 Newton to this 40 Newton. 40 plus 5. Okay, let me write here. Limiting friction I got as 5 Newton. Is it not? Now, let me show you in the upward on this block there are two forces. One I got as limiting friction, which is equal to 5 Newton. I have found out the value of limiting friction, and here you got one force which is equal to what? Mg sin theta. Here you have one more force, F cos 45. This is F cos 45, which is equal to how much you got? 40 Newton. And what is the value of mg sin theta you got? 50 root 3. This value is 50 root 3 Newton. And here, when you sum up these two, this is in downward direction, this is block. When you sum up these two, 40 plus 5, 45 Newton. Still this 50 root 3 Newton is greater than 45 Newton. Then what can you expect from the block? You can expect the block must be sliding down the plane. When it is sliding down the plane, here kinetic friction will come into picture. Kinetic friction will come into picture. Is it? So, remember this. So therefore, since I can write like this, since mg sin theta is greater than the sum of these two, what are those two forces? F cos 45 degrees plus limiting friction, I can write the block slides down the plane. Now let us find out net force. Therefore, and the friction is kinetic, is it not? and the friction exists is what? Friction exists is kinetic. Friction exists is kinetic. Right? So therefore, net force is what? Net force is equal to mg sin theta is greater than these two forces. So I can write like this. Mg sin theta minus of, what are the remaining two? These two. F cos 45 degrees plus Fk. Does it now? But I don't know, I did not calculate the value of Fk yet. FL only have calculated. But here I am using Fk. The reason is the block is sliding down the plane. Here, instead of taking limiting friction, I have taken kinetic friction. So how to find out this kinetic friction? How to find out this kinetic friction? But what is the formula you have? We know that Fk is equal to mu k into L. Mu k value also have given. How much? 0.4. Normal force. What is the value of normal force we got? I think 10 Newton. Is it not? Do you remember? We got the value of normal force as 10 Newton. Right? Somewhere I have calculated. So Fk is equal to 0.4 into normal force I got as 10. Now the kinetic frictional force what I am getting is 4 Newton. Let me put the value of 4 Newton here, and F cos 45 value is 40. So mg sin theta value is 50 root 3, is it not? So which implies net force is equal to, this value is 50 root 3 minus of F cos 45 is 40 plus Fk value what you got is 4. Don't take FL there. FL means what? Limiting friction will come into picture only when the block is about to slide down. But here we have decided block is sliding down the plane. So finally what I will get is 50 root 3 minus 40 plus 4 is 44. Right? If I take root 3 as approximately 1.7, its value is 1.732. But here I am taking this as roughly as 50 into 1.7 minus 44. I am doing rough calculations. What is value of root 3? Root 3 value is 1.732. Let me write here. Root 3 is 1.732. Anyways, it is irrational. Right? It goes on. But I am taking 3 digits after decimal. But here still I am considering the root 3 value is 1.7. Right? And if I calculate this, decimal and 0 gets cancelled. 17 5 is 85. Right? So if I do this, 85 minus 44, which comes out to be 41, I have found out force, so 41 Newton. 41 Newton. But this is not the answer. I want acceleration. I want the value of acceleration. This is the value I got as net force. Net force, how much I got? 41 Newton. Net force I got as 41 Newton. But what is the formula for force? I got net force as 41 Newton. Net force is nothing but MA. MA is equal to 41. Mass of the block is how much? 10. 10A is equal to 41, which implies A is equal to 4.1 meter per second. Implies A is equal to 4.1 meter per seconds. This is the answer. I have told you a concept, that's it. So how to apply the, how to see whether the block is sliding down or not. So you have to observe all the things carefully. Then you have to decide. If the block is ready to slide down, then here you won't get kinetic friction into picture. You will get just limiting friction. You can just write the formula for limiting friction, you can substitute directly. Is it fine? So let me wind up the class for today. Thank you all. Let me discuss few more problems in next session. Thank you all. Bye.